Hello, I'm Davina, and hello to all of you bold, beautiful, brilliant, and evolving souls. This video is going to be about mind reading and our other intuitive kind of ways that, well, mind reading is something that we do as codependents. It's something we were forced to do. And it's basically because the narcissist, instead of the narcissistic parent caring for the child and the child being the center, and the narcissist, reading their cues and attuning to the child and figuring out what the child needs. And instead, it's the other way around. And it's the narcissist that's the center of attention. And it's the child that is expected to be looking to the parent and figuring out their needs and looking at their facial expressions and trying to pick up on their cues and trying to attune to what the parent needs. And often that is just attention or a smile to be like, yeah, you're doing a great job, mother. Or just like not crying or being good, being well behaved. All those things that the narcissist needs because they have no skills, right? They have none of the major skills needed for raising a child. And those skills are things like being able to listen, being receptive, being attuned, having empathy, um, having patience, being gentle, having time management skills, having solid, good, healthy boundaries. All of these things are lacking for narcissists, and they don't understand children at all. So it becomes our job then to take care of our parent. And one way that we do this is through mind reading. And we become very skilled at trying to mind read other people. And occasionally, I do believe that because our intuition is so strong, that often our mind reading is correct. And I think really what I was tuning into this morning was like fawners are actually beautiful people. They're really beautiful, beautiful people. Because you need to have sensitivity, you need to have awareness, you need to be able to tune, you need to have empathy in order to become a fawner, actually, and in order to sort of try to mind read others and figure out what their needs are. So this is one sort of insight I've had recently, this awareness um, about how much I mind read at work. And one example would be like I hear the mother talking about um, one of the parks that's nearby, and she's like, "Well, that one's kind of old, and I don't know, the other one's kind of better and brighter or whatever." And so when I'm deciding then later on or the next day which park to go to, I automatically am thinking like, oh, maybe I was going to go to the nearby park, but maybe the mother really wants me to go to the other park, which is bigger and brighter and newer or whatever. And so I realized I just was doing this before automatically without awareness. I was just automatically thinking, what do the parents need? Do they, and I would guess, by something, maybe they left a clue or something they said, or just something in the conversation, that they left me a little hint as to what they like and what they don't like. And so I'm trying to like guess and like follow that so that I don't disappoint them or displease them. And this can take up a lot of energy. This can lead to, it's just so exhausting to be doing this all the time. But yeah, so if you find yourself doing this, it's just a fawning response. It's not your fault. And what I also kind of realize is that I often was expecting it the other way, because this was such an unmet need in my childhood, I mean, not that my parent was exactly supposed to mind read me, but as when a child is between 1 to 3, when they haven't developed their verbal skills, a parent needs to be very intuitive. That's another one, very intuitive and very sensitive, and be able to like read those like just those nonverbal cues that a child has. What does that cry mean? What does this cry mean? To be able to listen and decipher different things. And sometimes it is just kind of guesswork. I think she's maybe needing this. And then if that isn't it, then you guess something else and you kind of theorize. And it's a lot of work taking care of a young child. And it takes a lot of skill. Um, and so I realized that I was expecting this from other people, really, in a way, like subconsciously, um, that I wanted them to guess what I needed. I wanted them to know intuitively what I needed. And this brought resistance for setting boundaries, because I thought, no, I shouldn't have to set a boundary. They should know. Like, and this again is very sort of subtle, subconscious stuff. Um, but it brought another, like, along with the terror of setting boundary, but there was this, again, there's this kind of resistance of, I didn't feel like that I should have to do that. I didn't feel like I should have to tell them what I needed. And so I grieved about that. And I grieved that that was an unmet need in my childhood, that my mother was supposed to be able to do that. At least early on. That parent is supposed to just be centered on their child. What do they need? That is their job, right? And so when we lack that, we can then expect, other people to do that. And that's okay. It's just bringing gentle, compassionate awareness to these things, um, and understanding, and then grieving it. And then it just naturally changes because you've now grieved those feelings, the sadness. And yeah, another one example of it that I thought of that I expected was like, every week I get my grocery order and I was leaving. I have a box and I have a bag outside my door for them to put the groceries in. And sometimes they would put the produce in the bag and the other stuff in the box, but often it was just sort of mixed all together. And and I was like, but I don't like this. I want the produce in the bag. Like, isn't it obvious? I want the produce in the bag and the pantry stuff and the milk and everything in the box because it's heavier. And and then I finally sort of, like, after weeks of complaining, I kept complaining, well, why don't they do it this way? And I realized, like, I really need to put like a sign out there that says, I want the produce in the bag and the other stuff in the box. So that's finally what I did. But it took overcoming that. And it takes sometimes just, yeah, going through the process of like complaining and getting angry and getting angry. And then it, like, boundaries can take a lot of like process because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of anger and grief to sometimes get to actually setting that boundary. And now I have a sign that says produce and I put it on top of the bag and the produce all goes in the bag and it's like, yay. And I set some boundaries at work and I was like, yay, like they weren't saying my name very often. And so I said, you know what, could you just like say my name sometimes? I really appreciate that, you know, because some people don't know. And a lot of people, well, if you're dealing with someone who's in more denial than you are, then likely you're going to have to set a lot of boundaries. So, and that's okay. But yeah, so just the mind reading thing, it's just something again to bring a gentle awareness to, and understand that it's part of the fawn response, and um, and that it's not your job. It's not your job to take care of somebody else. Um, and that's, in a healthy relationship, it's I take care of me and you take care of you, right? In a codependent relationship, it's I take care of you and sometimes you take care of me. Like, it can get very muddly. So in a healthy relationship, each person is taking care of their own needs and setting their own boundaries. And so you don't have to mind read that person because it's their responsibility as an adult to speak up to you if you're doing something that's bothering them or if they need some change or something. So it's not up to you. And it's really important to release that responsibility, because we take on way too much responsibility as, you know, as we are. I don't want to say we are a codependent, because it's something we're healing from. Um, we have tendency to be for these codependent behaviors. Um, but anyway, yeah, it's not your responsibility. And guilt often comes along with that too, feeling guilty because you're not taking care of their needs or something. That's their job. That's their job to set a boundary with you. So releasing guilt is also a huge thing um, for people who are like many of us, and who became fawners in order to survive. So I just wanted to share that with you today. I'm on holidays. Hopefully I'll get some more videos out here. Um, please bear with me. Sometimes I'm going through a lot and I just can't do videos for a while, but I'm always going to come back. So as always, wishing you many blessings on your journey of healing and awakening. And I am Davina at Boldness Blooming. Thank you for watching.